time of Lord Rishabhdeva, and we just started Bharata Maharaj, the activities of Bharata Maharaj. So initially, we saw that after being after uh, father's retirement, after Rishabhdeva's retirement, Bharata Maharaj made the king of the entire Bhumandala, located in Bharata Varsha, because he's so great. The Varsha, which was previously known as Nabi Varsha when Nabi was ruling, and which became known as Ajnaba Varsha when Lord Rishabhdeva was ruling. Now it became known as Bharata Varsha because Bharata Maharaj is so wonderful personality and is ruling. And he also married and he also begot few children. I think 5 sons. Their names are mentioned. And then he executed his duties as a king, a righteous and generous king, very nicely. So, as part of taking care of his kingdom, he executed so many sacrifices. That is one of the important activity we were discussing since fourth canto. All the kings are always performing yajna after yajna, yajna after yajna, yajna after yajna. There were conflicts also because of that. Prithu Maharaj Indra had conflict also. So Bharata constantly worshipped the Lord, who with the form of sacrifice, with and without offerings of animals, through large and small sacrifices named Agnihotra, Darsha, Purnamasha, Chaturmasya, animal sacrifice, and Soma sacrifices, complete or partial, according to the rules involving 4 priests, Hota, Udgata, Advaryu, and Brahma, etc., implying all the priests, which are accepted with faith by the karmis. All these sacrifices are generally performed with complete dedication, with full attention by the karma yogis, which are majority in society. That is true. And now, Bharata Maharaj also performing the same sacrifices for the prosperity of the kingdom. So that is the reason. Kings perform sacrifice for the prosperity of the entire kingdom. So he worshipped the Lord in the form of sacrifice without and with animal offerings through large and small animal sacrifices. These were accepted by the performers of karma as their own. So some note. So this is where we stopped. He performed these sacrifices with all elements, sometimes with fewer elements, and sometimes with animals involved, sometimes animals are not involved. Like overall, different variety of sacrifices are there, and all of them are being performed by Bharata Maharaj. And what was the consciousness while performing these sacrifices? He is presented in the next sloka. And this also had a lot of notes in the purport. So this will take some time. That's why I did not take this verse in the last week. So we'll discuss from this verse onwards. So please read the translation.
After performing the preliminaries of various sacrifices, Maharaj Bharat offered the results in the name of religion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. In other words, he performed all the yajnas for the satisfaction of Lord Vasudeva Krishna. Maharaj Bharat thought that since the demigods were different parts of Vasudeva's body, he controls those who are explained in the Vedic mantras. By thinking in this way, Maharaj Bharat was freed from all material contamination such as attachment, lust, and greed. When the priests were about to offer the sacrificial ingredients into the fire, Maharaj Bharat expertly understood how the offerings made to different demigods was simply an offering to the different limbs of the Lord. For instance, Indra is the arm of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Surya, the sun, is his eye. Thus, Maharaj Bharat considered that the oblations offered to different demigods were actually offered unto the different limbs of Lord Vasudeva.
Yeah. So this talks about the mentality with which Bharata Maharaj performed the sacrifice. So there is elaborate analysis of the same. So let us try to see. But before going further, so I will also read the translation here in the notes. But before that, I want you to remember 2 verses from Bhagavad Gita. One from 4th chapter, one from 18th chapter, wherein Lord Krishna says, Namang karmani limpanti, name karma phale spruha. Itiyo mam abhijanati, karma bir nasabadyate. So there Lord Krishna says that I am not bound by karmas that I perform, because while performing those karmas, I am not I do not have the motive of enjoying the results of those karmas. Name karma phale spruha. I'm not thinking about enjoying the karma phal while doing all the prescribed household activities and varnashram duties, etc. And then, ityo mam abhijanati. Those who know this about me, karma bir nasabadate. That means those who know this, how Lord Krishna is performing karmas, and they follow in the footsteps of Lord Krishna, that they perform all the varnashram duties, all the household activities, but not focusing on enjoying the results. Such kind of people also karma bir nasabadate. They are not bound by karma. This is one concept. So how to execute those karmas then? I mean, there is a principle that is performing the karmas but is not thinking about the results. What do you mean by that? So Lord Krishna tells the same thing in the 18th chapter, 6th verse, Bhagavad Gita. So in that 6th verse, he says that Etani apitu karmani sangam tektva falani cha kartavyani me partha nichitam matamuttamam. He said that this is my opinion. Different sages have different opinion. That is fine. But my opinion is Etani apitu karmani. One should perform all one's prescribed duties, varnashram duties. How? Sangam tektva. Sangam tektva means without being attached to the concept of I am the doer. Sangha means attachment will be there only when we say that I am the doer, then there is attachment. So then, phalam tektva. फल के प्रति भी आपेक्षा नहीं रखने का. Then somebody say में से ये क्या कर रहा है बोल रहे हैं आप, काम करने के लिए बोल रहे हैं, बट करते समय ये भी बोल रहे हैं आप आई एम नॉट डूइंग, आई एम नॉट द डूअर, एंड रिजल्ट के प्रति भी अपेक्षा नहीं रहना चाहिए. क्यों करने का? कर्तव्यानिति में पार्था, बिकॉज इट इज अवर कर्तव्य, इट इज अवर ड्यूटी. एज ए मैटर ऑफ ड्यूटी वन शुड एग्जीक्यूट ऑल वन्स कर्मास. कर्तव्यानिति में पार्था निश्चितम मतमुत्तमम. दिस इज माय ओपिनियन. So like that Lord Krishna says there. So here Bharata Maharaja is one example of the same. Even third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna also gives an example of Janak Maharaj. He is also one such an example, executing karma perfectly. So now, keeping these two background, let us move ahead. So what is this happening here? Our Bharata Maharaj, how he is executing all the karmas. In performance of various sacrifices, with execution of all parts, Bharata Maharaj thought of the astonishing results of the sacrifices as an offering to Supreme Lord, the supreme object of worship, Lord Vasudeva, the ultimate performer of all actions, recipient of all sacrifices. Since Lord Vasudeva alone is the controller of all the devatas, who are the subject of the mantras, which have power to reveal those devatas. So there are various attributes are given to Supreme Lord. Ahami sarvajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha bhoktaram yajnasarvam sarvalokamayeshwaram aham sarvabhutanam. What is that? Aham sarvasya prabhu matam sarvam pravartate aham hadircha devanam maharshinam cha sarvasha. So at various places Lord says that I am this, I am that, I am the source of everyone, everything. Aham kratu, aham yajna, swado, aham aushodam. So brahmarpanam brahma brahmajna brahmanautam. Like that. Everything is Lord only, everything is meant for Lord only. That is being indicated here. The Supreme Lord is the supreme object of worship. He is the Supreme Brahman. He is Bhagavan Vasudeva. He is the ultimate performer of all actions. Sakshat Karta. He is the ultimate Karta. He is Yajna Purusha. And Artha Niyama Kataya. He alone is the controller of all the devatas. So Bhuktaram is like Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the Lord of all the lokas and the Lokapalas. All the Lokapalas are the subject of the mantras. Idam Indraya Swaha, Idam Nama, Idam Varunaya Swaha, Idam Nama. But the Lord is the controller of all the devatas, is the master of all the devatas. So it's like that. And he is the person who had the power to reveal those devatas. Sarva Devata Linganam. It is by Lord's mercy only all devatas are revealed. they are manifested and they are able to perform activities and they will be liberated. Everything by Lord only. These are some of the different attributes of the Supreme Lord. Then, having destroyed all impressions of karma by skillful actions, when having the Advaryu priest perform rites, okay, Bharata, the sponsor of the sacrifice, meditated on the devatas, the recipients of sacrifice, at the limbs of the Lord. When the Advari priest would say that, Idam Indraya Swaha, Idam Nama, the Hota would pour ghee into the fire sacrifice. That time Bharata Maharaj would think that, okay, these offerings are meant for, this ghee and these grains are meant for the hands of Lord Krishna, or lands of Lord Vishnu, hands of Lord Vasudeva, whichever way. So when they say that Idam Indraya Swaha, this is meant for the hands of Lord Vasudeva. When they say Idam Varunaya Swaha, this is meant for the tongue of Lord Vasudeva. When they say Idam Surya Swaha, they say this is for the eyes of the Lord Vasudeva. So like that, Bharata Maharaj would think within his heart. So this is the background. There is some analysis. So Bharata Maharaj is answering. He is sitting there and is performing. How can you say that he is not the doer? How can you say that he is not entitled to subject to the results? That is there. If Bharata Maharaj is not the doer, then who is the doer? If the Lord is the doer, Lord does not want anything. He is Atma Rama. Then who is the doer? If the priest is the doer, the Hota, Advaryu, who are actually doing with chanting mantras, who are putting ghee into the what? Is the doer? Who is the doer? Who is entitled to get the results? And how these karmas which Bharata Maharaj is performing does not bind Bharata Maharaj. Because performing yajna, one would be promoted to heaven. So as a result of that, Bharata Maharaj is supposed to go to heaven. Not binding means that he will not go to heaven. So there is a understanding. Let us see. This is bigger notes. Let us try to go through all the notes quickly. The Lord has said one should continue to perform the Vedic ritualistic activities until one actually becomes detached from the material sense gratification and develops faith for hearing and chanting about me. So in the 11th canto, in the Uddhava Gita, who is qualified to practice bhakti? So that is mentioned. So what is the qualification to start bhakti? Jata Shraddho Matkatasu Nirvinna Sarva Karmashu. Veda Dukkatmakan Kaman Parityagi Anishura. Something I don't remember, but basically, Jata Shraddha Matkatasu. The faith has been produced, has been generated, or has taken birth in the heart of a person. In whose heart कृष्ण कथा के प्रति की आसक्ति जन्म लिया और निर्विन्ना सर्व कर्मशु and he does not have so much attachment for material karmas which promote one to heavenly enjoyment. Na nirvinno na atisakto bhakti yogo se siddhida. Another thing is that na nirvinno na atisakto. One is not too much attached to the material enjoyment. Na nirvinno, one is not too much detached from the material existence. Too much detachment is the qualification to practice yoga, jnana or yoga. Too much attachment is the qualification to practice sakama karma. And a person in between is qualified for bhakti. So bhakti means, yeah, सब कुछ है, सब कुछ भगवान का सेवा में लगाएंगे. So that is the concept of devotees. And everything is meant for my enjoyment. Concept of sakama karma. And everything is maya. That is the concept of jnani. Everything is a cause of bondage. I should not be interacting with material objects. That is the concept of Nishkama Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, and Ashtanga Yogi. So in that way, we can say. So now here, Lord is saying that Tavat Karmani Kuruvita na Nirvidyeta Yavata. Matkarta Shravana Dova Shraddha Yavarna Jayata. Till the time one does not have faith, Shraddha, in Matkatha, in hearing Krishna Katha, till then, one should execute this kind of Vedic rituals with an intention to offer them wholeheartedly to the service of the Devatas. Matlab, one need to cultivate some kind of detachment, nishkama mentality, nishkama karma yoga one should execute so that one develops little detachment and eventually one will be qualified to practice bhakti. This is one of the verse in the same section in Uddhava Gita where Lord Krishna defines the qualification for practicing karma, jnana, yoga and bhakti. So when one does not have faith on Krishna Katha, one should actually perform such kind of rituals where there are a lot of mantras indicating offering to devatas and also culminating in all the devatas are the servants of Supreme Lord. In that way they'll understand and then they develop attachment to hear Krishna Katha. There are one verse also, I don't remember as it is. In the first canto, second chapter, that what was that verse? Anyone remembers? Shramayevai Kevalam. First canto, second chapter, text number 8 or 9. Hare Krishna, Bhakti Vaibhav खत्म हो गए. धर्म स्वानुष्ठिता पुंसा विश्वक्सेन कथासुया न उत्पादयत यदिरतिम श्रमयेवै केवलम. धर्म स्व अनुष्ठिता पुंसा विश्वक्सेन कथासुया. So according to one's psychophysical nature, one's liking, one should perform varnashram duties as an offering to Supreme Lord. As a result, one should develop attachment to hear Krishna Katha. Na utpadayat yadiratim. If these activities are not producing desire to hear Krishna Katha or to practice bhakti, all those activities are simply shramayavai kevalam. So like that. How is it that Bharata, a person qualified for pure bhakti, with deep faith in topics of the Lord and without material desire, performed karma yoga and enjoyed the results? Somebody might question, why is performing so many yajnas? A devotee है ना, छोड़ छोड़ सब साइड में रखो करके कोई बोल सकते, ऐसे बोल सकते, some kind of fanatic understanding. So, but here you see, when he performed various sacrifices in which all the elements were executed, there was an astonishing result called dharma. It is not that he is performing superficially. He is performing everything with attention to the details, with great care is doing. As a result of that, his Kshatriya Dharma is executed. His Varnashrama Dharma, the Grasta, is executed. He thought of these results as an offering to Supreme Brahman, Vasudeva, his deity. He thought, I do not have any desire for the results of this sacrifice. It is for the pleasure of Lord Vasudeva. It is offered to Lord Vasudeva. It is not mine. From the very beginning, he made Sankalpa that whatever yajna I am performing as a matter of duty, it's all meant for Lord's service. Our results are meant for Lord's pleasure, not for me. Yasmin tushte jagat sushte. If Lord is satisfied, my kingdom and all the people will be satisfied. I don't have to worry. But though he may say like that, but the Mimamsakas say that, Karma Mimamsakas, those who believe in karma, they say that karma is ultimate. They say they believe that the results are for the performer. If the desires for the results of the performer are prominent, or for the Devata, where the actions were directed predominantly to the Devatas. Since so they say that the results are meant for the performer. Otherwise, why performer is undertaking so many difficulties? If not for the performer, the result should go to Devatas because he is telling the Devatas name. Idam Indraya so idam Namma, idam Chandraya so idam Namma. It is not for you, for me, but it is for Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu. It should go to them. Since Bharata was material without material desires, the result should go to the Devatas. They say. When the why then did Bharata think of offering the results only to Vasudeva when there are many Devatas like Chandra and Surya? अभी आपको नहीं चाहिए तो देवता को दे देना, प्रॉब्लम क्या है? भगवान वासुदेव को क्यों दे रहे हैं? तो क्या पाप किया? Like that the Mimamsakas might question. The answer is, he thought of Lord Vasudeva, the enjoyer of results of the sacrifice, Yajna Purushe, as the controller of all the Devatas, who are the goals of the mantras which reveal the Devatas. Mimamsakas have the understanding that the Devatas are the ultimate enjoyers of the sacrifice. But Bharata Maharaj understanding is that all the devatas are controlled by the Supreme Lord. They are all subservient to the Supreme Lord. It is the Supreme Lord who revealed the Vedas, which reveal the devatas. So, what is the problem? So like that, Bharata Maharaj says. Now they ask another question. Bharata may not be the enjoyer, no problem. But he cannot avoid being the performer of the sacrifice. No problem, you are not the enjoyer. But you cannot say that I am not the doer. अब तो कर रहे हैं सब कुछ. Then answer is no. Lord Vasudeva is also the performer, since he is the independent doer, inspiring all others to action at the Antaryami of all beings. What was that verse? 18th chapter, 62nd or 61st verse, Bhagavad Gita. Ishvara sarvabhutana murdesha arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantarudani maya. Sarvasya chaham udisannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Mamay, not Mamayvamsho. What was that verse? Mayadakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. So various places in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, I am the ultimate operator. Aham sarvasya prabhu mattam sarvam pravartate. So he said many places. So how can you say that Lord is not the doer? Lord is the ultimate doer. We are inspired by the Lord, we are doing all these things. Without the inspiration of Paramatma, we can't do anything. The sponsor of the sacrifice, who is not independent, is not the performer. So because sponsor Bharata Maharaj is not independent, he is also inspired by the Paramatma. So he don't have any, he cannot claim that he is the doer. If we do not accept this principle, the priest would be called the performer. Okay, बहुत confused कर रहे हैं. If Bharata Maharaj is thinking that I am not the doer, no problem. But priest तो कर रहे हैं ना, on behalf of the Bharata Maharaj. Since he directly performed the sacrifice, he is chanting the mantras, he is putting the ghee inside, he is the doer, everything. We can see actually. So Bharata Maharaj may say that I am not the doer, I am sitting silently there. Side में बैठा था, बस खाली बैठा. Like the people, audience are sitting, I am also sitting. I am not the doer. So what the priest is doing? This is understood from the Vishnu Shastra Nam Stotra that Yajna book, Yajnakrut Yajna. Lord Vishnu is the enjoyer of the sacrifice. Lord Vishnu is the performer of the sacrifice. And Lord Vishnu is the sacrifice itself. He is Yajna book, he is Yajnakrut, he is Yajna himself. So how can you say that priest is the doer? So like that. Neither Bharata Maharaj nor the priest are the doers of the sacrifice. Ultimately, Lord is the doer. So then, though the Lord is independent, the Jiva thinks that he is the performer out of ignorance and becomes bound up. By his skillful thinking, Bharata destroyed the contamination of impressions arising from action. We, out of ignorance, we think that we are the doer. I am doing everything. What was that verse from 3rd chapter also, Bhagavad Gita? Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti mannati. From at our level, we say Lord says that Prakriti is doing all the activities, and only Ahankari says that I am the doer. But a pure devotee says that Lord is the doer. Neither Prakriti nor me. It is the Lord is the ultimate doer. Because that Prakriti also acts under the supervision of Supreme Lord. Mayadakshena Prakriti Suji Saracharam. So in that way. So like the step by step, there is a gradation who is the doer, who is not the doer. It should be understood that though the devotee who is free of identity as the doer and has renounced all the results of actions, Sangam Tektva, Phalam Tektva, results of all actions, but performs actions through his representative such as the Advaryu priest, he is not the doer, since he does not have faith in those actions. Bharata Maharaj is doing because it is his dharma. As a king, he is supposed to do all the sacrifices, he is doing it. But if he is not the king, he would not have done that. Personally, he is not after the results of doing all these activities in that way.
Hare Krishna. Should I ask in some doubt now or after completion of your?
No, let us see through the other notes, which will again address some of the point. Then we'll take the question.
Okay.
Ashraddaya utam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat Asaditi uchyate partha nachatat pratyano yah. This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, Siddhartha Vibhaga Yoga, where it is said that one should perform yajna, dana, tapa systematically according to the mode in which one is. At least one should perform these activities in the mode of goodness. That is what is expected. But if one performs without any faith, on either side or positive side, negative side also, if one performs only for the namesake, he does not get any results. And a devotee like Bharata Maharaj performs all these activities without anticipating the results, he is also not bound by the results. So like that. Whatever is offered in the fire, whatever is given in charity, whatever is undertaken as austerity, yajna, dana, tapa, but which is done without faith is called asat, since it bears no result now or in the next life. Whether for the people in the mode of ignorance in the passion, or people already transcended the three modes. When they perform all these things, they perform without for the names, for the getting name and fame in the society. And here pure devotee is performing all these things because it is a matter of duty, but not for one's own spiritual elevation. Like that, if you take, they will not get results. That means they are not bound by that. Because yajna by default offers one entry into Swarga. So he does not want to go to Swarga, so he is not entitled to go to Swarga because of detachment. So in that way. So it basically the understanding is that, so who is the ultimate enjoyer of the results? If whoever claims that I am the enjoyer of the results, they have to go to Swarga. So whom should we claim the enjoyer of the results? Bharata Maharaj, the Advairu priest, or the Devatas? But ultimately not to put anyone in trouble. Bharata Maharaj said that Lord, he the doer, he the enjoyer, he the responsible person. None of us are responsible. So that none of them are held for going to Swarga as a result of performing the sacrifice. So in that way. Devotees, that doesn't mean that they are not performing. They are doing it because it is a duty. They are executing their duty without having the attachment to the results. So this is the mentality. Devotees such as Ambarisha absorbed in performing pure bhakti all day long. Savai Manakrishna Padara Vindaror Vasanshi Vaikunta Gunan Varnani. So like that. Conducted sacrifices handed down by tradition from father and grandfather through representatives. It is seen at that present time. Okay. Ambarish Maharaj is another example. He also engaged all the Brahmanas in performing all the sacrifices because that is duty of a king. King means should perform the sacrifice. That is Raja Dharma. He cannot escape from that. But he being a pure devotee, it's okay. Oh, hone do. But let me perform Shravanam Smaranam. While you are doing sacrifice, I'll sit next to it and I'll do Leela Smaran, Nama Smaran, Rupa Smaranam, Guna Smaranam. It's like that. So one contemporary example is given. Even today also, some of the Indians who are coming from aristocratic families who have been to West, who are living there, when they want to perform some samskaras, they perform it through a representative because they know by not performing they are in trouble. By performing also they are in trouble because of some contamination. How to do? Keeping a representative, they perform. It is seen at the present time as well that householder devotees well established in the Western states perform the karma such as marriage or receiving the secretary through a representative, since they fear contamination with local customs and with the total lack of varna and ashram dharma in that society. So they also perform with the help of a representative. Online ceremony, online performance. So something like that. The results do not occur to the impure person, as in the verse Tavat Karmani Kurvita. Thus, the Shuddhasattva devotee certainly has no fault in doing actions through a representative. Even though when we put a representative and perform, neither the person, Ejaman, nor the representative both are held responsible for the activity. Because it has to be done and is busy doing something else, he can put a representative to do the activity as an offering to Supreme Lord, and Lord is responsible for everything. So in that way. Though some say that. Yes,
What
Manjush.
is meant by doing something through representative?
What is the meaning of doing through representatives? For example, so the boy and girl are in America. Their marriage has to be done. The girl's parents are in India. They could not go. Whether the marriage should be done or not.
Yeah.
How the marriage will happen? Who will do Kanyadan?
They will appoint somebody over there to do on their behalf.
If somebody does on their behalf, does that person entitled of doing Kanyadan?
I don't know, Prabhuji.
No, he is not. He is only appointed by the parents. Whether parents are doing directly themselves or they are requesting somebody else to do on their behalf, the parents are held responsible for Kanyadan, not the representative.
Because I have seen some of the couples, like those who don't have daughters and somebody else has many daughters, they do one of the Kanyadan saying that at least we will get the benefit of. So I don't know how it is taken.
Okay, if they themselves are requesting, they want to, they think that they are the doers, they may get. But if the parents of the girl, because of some reason, when they request somebody else to do on their behalf, because that is done with permission, the result goes to the parents only.
Okay.
So it's like that. If somebody is requesting that we want to do, then they are also entitled to do it. Both they're entitled to get the results. Both will get the results. 50, you can say.
Okay. So, and what you were explaining online, that means if suppose the thread ceremony is to be performed and the boy and their parents are in the Western countries, the priest from here can say the mantras and tell them to do
Yeah,
whatever. That
either
way.
priest also or parents also.
Okay.
One of the two. Either way, because here we are talking that my Bharata says I am not the doer, then priest should be the doer. Priests are not doer. Because priests are only appointed by the king, and king said that Lord is the doer. Then both of them are not held responsible. So in that way.
It is true for all the sacrifices, no, Prabhuji? Like whomsoever may be doing, but actually the Lord is the doer.
No, Lord is the doer. See, that is Lord is the doer. We say, we devotees say. What about Karma Yogis? What they will say? Karma Yogi will say, "Hey बाबा ऐसे बोलेगा तो क्या मैं कर रहा हूँ कर्म स्वर्ग जाने के लिए अब सारे भगवान इज अल्टीमेट डूअर है तो मैं किधर जाऊं मैं क्यों
Okay, so
करूं बोलेगा."
okay, so it will depend on the consciousness of a person who is sponsoring the sacrifice, right?
Yes. Even for example, for us also, we being the devotees, we say that Lord is the doer. So we do a sinful activity and say that hey, Lord is the doer.
Okay, yeah, understood.
So it's like that.
So depending on that, sometimes like here we are saying that Bharat Maharaj is not entitled to get any good or whatever results of the sacrifice because his
Uh-huh.
consciousness is that everything Lord is the doer and he is the performer of the sacrifice. But
See,
those
it's one point. We started the discussion quoting the questions by Mimamsakas. Where these notes are targeting the Mimamsaka mentality. The Mimamsaka mentality is karma is everything. कर्म करो स्वर्ग जाओ एंजॉय करो वापस आओ ब्राह्मण फैमिली में जन्म लो और अगेन एंजॉय अगेन कर्म करो अगेन स्वर्ग जाओ वेदवाद रथ पार्थ न अन्य अस्तित्व वादिना दैट कॉन्सेप्ट उसको
that
टारगेट
basically
करके
karma
बता रहे.
kanya. Okay, karma
हाँ.
kanya mentality. Right?
Hmm. So
Okay.
it's like that.
Okay. Yeah. Continue, Prabhu. Then right.
The results do not occur to the impure person in this verse tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyata yavata. If a person does not have desire to hear Krishna Katha, if he is performing all the karmas, the results do not occur to the impure person. That person is performing all the karmas to purify his heart so that he can develop attachment for Krishna Katha. So he is not performing karmas to go to Sarga. So he is not entitled for results. So like that. The only thing matters for what we are doing this, that kind of result will get. So when that is clear, everything is clear. So in that way, that the Shuddha devotee certainly has no fault in doing actions through a representative. Even a impure sadhaka who want to become a devotee, when he is performing the rituals, he is not entitled for the result. Then what to speak of a Shuddha Sattva devotee? They will not be entitled. So basically this is target into मीमांसकास. मीमांसकास इधर जो भी हो आप कर रहे हैं मतलब आपको रिजल्ट आना ही चाहिए. आपको रिजल्ट यू आर एंटाइटल्ड टू गेट द रिजल्ट्स. जैसे कर्म किया तो मतलब कर्म आपको चेस करेंगे. Okay, that is true, Baba, but there is something called invisible also. The visible thing is that I am doing, but invisible thing is that I am doing it as an offering to Supreme Lord, not for my enjoyment. So I am not entitled. So in that way. Okay. Though some say that the definition of pure bhakti indicates that bhakti should be devoid of karma and jnana. Since it is stated karma jnana anavrutam. Some say that आपका भक्ति बोलते हैं कर्म ज्ञान अनावृतम. So भक्ति में कर्म नहीं करने का, ये रिचुअल सब कुछ नहीं करने का दिल से. However, some others explain that this means that bhakti remains pure even though one engages in karma by employing an agent to perform sacrifice. Because bhakti is not covered by karma, if one remains constantly engaged in hearing and other acts of bhakti. If one is performing these rituals as a matter of duty, as an offering to Supreme Lord, not interested in the results, they are not entitled to get the bound by the results. Simple. Karma jnana anavrutam does not mean that there should be no karma, no jnana. There will be karma and jnana, but they will not cover one's bhakti. So in that way. So then again they say, we cannot attribute fault of doing karmas to Bharata if he acts thus. But how can one say that his bhakti is pure if there is worship of many devatas in the sacrifice? अभी आप भरत महाराज को प्योर भक्त कैसे बोल सकते हैं? ये तो इतना कर्म कर रहे, कितना देवताओं को वर्शिप कर रहे, देवता पूजा कर रहे. आपको उनको शुद्ध भक्त नहीं बोल सकते. वी शुड कॉल हिम एज मिस्टर भक्ता. So now Bharata, the sponsor of the sacrifice, meditated on the devatas, the receivers of the offerings, idam indraya swaha, idam nama, idam chandraya swaha, idam nama, at the limbs of the Lord. When the priest said indraya swaha, Bharata Maharaj thought, this is the worship of the arm of my Lord. When the priest said Suryaya swaha, Bharata Maharaj thought, this is the worship of the eye of my Lord. Worshipping each devata independently would destroy the ananya or exclusive aspect of bhakti, but worshipping them as the limbs of the Lord does not destroy it. This is the difference between Mimamsakas and devotees. Thus, Bharata Maharaj is the Shuddha Bhakta. So like that. So this is a very nice explanation targeting Mimamsakas. So detailed explanation. Request everyone to go through the notes later on at leisure, line by line, very nicely. There is one verse also in the 6th canto, 2nd chapter, where the glories of holy names are mentioned. There are also a lot of question answers are there. So we should have this kind of analytical understanding so that we are not, what we can say, um, our understanding is not superficial. We'll have proper understanding. So like that. Okay, Mataji, clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. There are one or two things like you mentioned that if Vasudeva is performer, like Lord is the performer of the sacrifice, if we understand it in that way, then like sometimes we see that not sometimes all the times that somebody gets the positive result of performing particular sacrifice. Like we see Dashrath Maharaj sacrifice, Lord came with the payasam and then he gave it to the queens and all. Or sometimes if the mantras are not chanted properly, there is some negative results as well. So how those results are attributed to the doer of the sacrifice?
No. See, what is the motive? Why did Dashrath Maharaj perform sacrifice?
To get the son.
He got son. Okay.
Yeah.
And why did Twasta perform sacrifice?
He wanted means to somebody who can kill Indra.
But he made a mistake that has given wrong result.
Yeah.
And unka galti hai. See, they are clear why they are performing. Here, Bharata Maharaj is supposed to do all these things because he's a king. As a matter of Raja Dharma, he's doing all the things. But as a person, he's a pure devotee. And while doing the sacrifices, he is not saying that, okay, I'm doing these sacrifices in order to go to Swarga and enjoy more. If somebody thinks like that, they will go to Swarga and enjoy more. But he's thinking that he does not want to go to Swarga. He just want to remain the servant of the Lord. And he is converting, dovetailing that sacrifice into a devotional service. So
Okay, so
what's
the
harm?
same thing what we discussed some time back, it will matter the
Hmm.
consciousness of the doer, how it is, depending on that, whether he will get results of it or not, that will be.
Yes, yes. The consciousness only decides what we are doing, why we are doing, ultimately.
Okay. And
Ah,
another question arises like Prabhuji here, like Bharat Maharaj is the purest devotee, like even Rishabdev said that he is the best of the devotees and or told all his sons to follow him, like. So then, why he's performing the yajna when he's already
see,
detached?
wait. Why are you so confused? He is not only just a normal living entity. He is also Raja.
To set the example, he's doing that.
No,
Right.
not set the example. उनका duty है. अभी देखो, you are a devotee. Okay, you have
Hmm.
children.
Hmm.
You need to take care of them, or you can forget about their maintenance and go to Vrindavan and live like Goswamis. You are a
नहीं,
devotee, na? You can live like
yeah.
Goswamis also. What is the problem?
Okay.
It is simple thing. No need to get confused.
Okay. And one more last thing, Prabhuji, like one you mentioned one of the shlokas from Bhagavad Gita where you mentioned that it should be done as a kartavya, not
Ah,
with the intention of getting anything. So
hmm.
understood, but Prabhuji, if everything is done, I may be wrong, please correct me, that if everything is done as a karta, just with the kartavya buddhi,
Hmm.
so there will be no bhavas in it, na Prabhuji. It will just remain as the ritualistic performance that yes, this is to
What,
be
what,
done.
what, what, what do you mean by everything? Where you want to put Baba? In which activities?
Like if like suppose how here it is explained that when while doing the yagya, Bharat Maharaj is thinking, I am offering this to the eyes of the Lord, I am offering this to the hands of the Lord, like that. So when he's doing that, he has that bhava for the Lord that yes, I am whatever I'm doing this, but this is I'm trying to worship my sweet Lord, like that. But
Hmm.
if everything is done without any such thing, like those who do just as a मैं राजा हूँ मेरा कर्तव्य है यज्ञ करना तो मैं कर रहा हूँ, that is.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it will just means that worship will just remain at a very lower level, no Prabhuji, just as a ritualistic performance. It will not how it will help one to elevate, like means
See,
it is
this is
not.
the
I'm not
problem.
talking about Bharat
No,
Maharaj.
wait. Why you want to elevate them?
The performers of any activity, devotional activity, the aim is to get elevated in the devotional life, no?
See, that is the problem. Here, there are two aspects you have to see. There is a yajna, which is an anga of karma yoga. If you perform it, you get the results. Okay, whether you
Yeah.
want the result or you do not want the result. A sakama karma yogi with a clear cut intention, desiring to go to Swarga, perform the ritual. A nishkama karma yogi also perform the ritual without the desire to go to Swarga. So, what is the difference between those two in terms of result?
One will go to Swarga, one will not because his desire was not there.
But will he get something or not?
Yeah,
What he will get?
will get devotion unto the Lord because with the Nishkam Bhav he has performed and offered the foods to Lord.
See, आप सब लोग pure devotees है. आप लोग are here different platform only. See, when somebody performs a yajna as a matter of duty, as it is prescribed in the Vedic literatures, without offering it as a pleasure gift to the Supreme Lord, as Bharata Maharaj is doing here, they are simply performing yajna because it has to be done. I am not interested in the result. They are qualified to take to Vanaprastha order, to go to forest, to take to renunciation, and then practice jnana and ashtanga, and then attain liberation. A Nishkama Karma Yogi also performs all the rituals like a Sakama Karma Yogi, but without desire to go to Swarga. They are qualified to take to Vanaprastha or Sannyasa to practice Jnana, Ashtanga, and eventually attain Moksha. A Sakama Karma Yogi performing all Sakama Karmi performing all the rituals with a desire to go to Swarga, they'll go to Swarga, enjoy and come back. उसका उधर ही अटक गया गाड़ी. इस ये दूसरा आदमी आगे बढ़ता है और तीसरा आदमी डिवोटी है, प्योर डिवोटी है. As a matter of duty, he has to perform all the sacrifices. But before performing sacrifice, only offering the sacrifice to the Lord. So उनका कुछ यही नहीं. This we discussed in our Bhakti Shastri also many times in the Bhagavatam also. Yat karoshi yadashnashi yajjosh tadashyat yat tapashyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Madarpan, then kurushva. पहले they offer activity to the Lord, then they perform the activity. वो किसका activity? वो मेरा activity है, Lord's का activity. For example, I'll give you the example. So in your home there is a kitchen. In Gopinath temple also there is a kitchen. Okay. In your home you cook and you offer to your household deities and then you honor. In Gopinath kitchen also you prepare food. You prepare for boga. It is being offered to the deities. Do you have a right to claim that I have cooked today, I have prepared the boga today, I am entitled to enjoy the prasad? Can you say that?
No.
If they offer prasad, the pujari from the pujari department, they give you prasad, you will take it as a Lord's causeless mercy. But do you claim that I have a right to enjoy the prasad?
No.
And in your home, do you claim the right to honor the prasad or not?
Yes, नहीं तो कहाँ जाएंगे?
That is the difference. That is the difference. बिकॉज यहाँ पे मंदिर का किचन के अंदर जो एक्टिविटी हो रहा है वो भगवान की एक्टिविटी है, उसमें आपका है नहीं. आप कर रहे बट यू कैन नॉट क्लेम दैट आई एम द डूअर, आई एम द एंजॉयर. वो क्लेम नहीं कर सकते. बट जो आपके घर पे हो रहे हैं यू कैन क्लेम. बिकॉज यहाँ पे दैट एक्टिविटी हैज बीन ऑफर्ड टू द लॉर्ड एंड देन परफॉर्म्ड. घर पे एटलीस्ट ए रिलेटिव प्लेटफॉर्म, जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड वी आर डिस्कसिंग दिस, you are performing the activity according to your liking and then offering the result to the Lord. आज मैं पनीर सब्जी बनाऊंगा, हलवा बनाऊंगा, कल समोसा बनाऊंगा. आपका इच्छा अनुसार बनाएंगे, भगवान को ऑफर करेंगे. बट डीटी किचन में ऐसा नहीं होगा. आपका इच्छा बहुत रहेगा बट मेन्यू में जो है वही बनाना पड़ेगा. जो सब्जी लाया इंचार्ज उसका यूज करके बनाना पड़ेगा. यू कैनॉट से दैट सो आज पनीर क्यों नहीं लाया, मुझे पनीर की सब्जी बनाने का. यू कैनॉट ऑर्डर दैट. आर यू गेटिंग?
Yeah.
So that's how we have to understand.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. And this last small point, like you mentioned twice, that is, I'm asking that do all the vanaprasthis, means one may be whichever order follower, like maybe karma, jnana, yoga, devotee, whatever. But if he takes vanaprastha order, he has to follow the yoga and jnana only.
No, that is for the traditional practice, Mataji. Don't get confused. So don't always see everything in the Bhakti point of view. Bhakti is there everywhere, but they are traditional practitioners. For them, Bhakti is secondary and their practice is primary.
Okay. So for them it is. Because we saw
even devotees like Prithu Maharaj also took to Vanaprastha order. He being a devotee, he performed severe austerities since he wanted to go back to Godhead immediately. Does not want to wait here long time. So devotees भी करते हैं, but उनका इच्छा अनुसार.
Okay, so devotee can follow the devotional practices also as well in the Vanaprastha order.
अरे वो तो करना ही पड़ेगा as well कैसे?
नहीं, I'm saying that means it is not that mandatory that they should follow karma or jnana practices. They can follow only bhakti practices and
Bhakti practices and also Vanaprastha austerities. Vanaprastha means what? Nothing. Household comfort से दूर रहने का बस उतना ही. Controllership mentality से दूर रहने का, household comfort से दूर रहने का, simple life, leading a simple life. That's all. That is Vanaprastha in one sense. So next, performing karmas purified by his intentions. The bhakti of Bharata filled with Shuddha Sattva daily increased to higher levels of intensity. He desired his bhakti to the Lord situated in the heart, to Brahman and to Bhagavan, Lord Vasudeva, who is also seen as Lord of Vaikuntha, endowed with Srivastha, Kaustuba, Vanamala, Chakra, Chanka, Gada, Padma, shining in the hearts of his devotees with his human form. So while doing this, while performing sacrifice after sacrifice like this, eventually Bharata Maharaj could be able to see the personality of Godhead within the core of his heart. Shh, shh, Hare Krishna. So Bharata Maharaj went to the platform that he was able to perceive the Bhagavan within the core of his heart. That is the state of bhakti he attained to. This is the glory of is bhakti. This action particularly purified the heart of the performer of karmas. Lord Rishabhadeva instructed his other sons to worship Bharata. However, since he already had a pure heart, it is redundant to say that he has become purified by these acts. Even if somebody says that, oh, since Bharat Maharaj performed all these yajnas, so he has become pure. Not like that. He is already pure, and he performed all the yajnas because he is the king. He has to perform, so he performed. He don't have to perform all the yajnas to get purified. He is already pure because his father also told already. ये तो pure devotee है, इधर उधर जाने की जरूरत नहीं. Like that. Having a pure heart, he performed acts which were pure, or by this method, he purified all actions. Since Bharata Maharaj performed all these activities, the activities became pure. So in that way, the natural bhakti of Bharata, who was in Shuddha Sattva, increased in strength daily on a higher level, like the Ganga, which moves with force, purifying the world. He had bhakti for Lord Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, who is worshipped as Paramatma, Brahman, and Bhagavan. He is situated in the space of the heart as Paramatma, the object of meditation of the yogis. So the previous slide showed that what kind of form he witnessed. There's a description of Paramatma in the second canto, second chapter. There was one verse about that. Kechit dehantar udayavakashe pradesha matram purusham vasantam chaturbhujam kanja ratanga shanka gadadaram dharanaya smaranti. Some yogis meditate upon the Paramatma measuring one pradesha, who is residing in the heart within the body, and who hold the lotus, wheel, conch, and club in his four hands. That was the description of Paramatma. That Paramatma has been seen by Bharata Maharaj continuously. Brahman is worshipped by the Jnanis, Bhagavan is worshipped by the devotees, and Paramatma is worshipped by the yogis. Though the form of Lord Krishna, Bhagavan, the form of Lord of Vaikuntha is described here since it is famous in the scriptures. This form shines in the heart marked permanently with that of human form, as if it were a painting in devotees like Narada. For devotees like Narada, he continuously sees Lord Vishnu within the core of his heart. Hanumanji continuously sees Lord Rama in the core of his heart. So like that, Bharata Maharaj also continuously seeing the Paramatma within the core of his heart. So basically, these verses are explaining that Bharata Maharaj already came to the platform of Bhava and Prema. He was already perceiving the Paramatma in the core of his heart. He has become so spiritually matured that he could continuously see the form of Paramatma. So, like that. So, like that, he executed his duties as a king for how long? For 10 million years. This long he ruled. And not ascertaining whether his karmas or whether his duties of this life were completed or not, he divided his wealth inherited from his father and grandfather, which he had enjoyed among his sons, according to the rules, and then left his house full of wealth and went to the hermitage at Pulha. So Bharata Maharaj ruled over the entire kingdom for 10 million years. Then he's thinking that I don't know whether I have executed my duties properly or not. He is still doubtful that whether he executed his duties properly or not. But still, whatever it is, whether I don't know, I'm not sure whether I execute or not. Let me take on to the next rashtam and perform more severe austerities in order to purify myself. Thinking like that, he distributed the kingdom among his sons and he went to Pulahashram to perform the Vanaprastha duties. So like that. So this will be the mentality of a devotee. In spite of doing all the duties to the par excellence, still they say that I have not done my duties properly. That is the nature of a pure devotee. It's like that. Not being able to ascertain whether his duties of this life had finished or not, after ruling for 10 million years, Bharata divided his kingdom and left. Bharata was conscious of his duties only out of humility, since he actually did not have any duties. His enjoyment of the kingdom was only a result of his being a devotee, not a result of his karmas. Being detached, he suddenly left the kingdom. Riktam means wealth inherited from the father or forefathers. He has kept aside, he gave it to his sons, and without any opulences, with bare clothes, the two plain clothes, he went to forest to perform Vanaprastha duties. This is how the detachment is there in the heart of Bharat Maharaj. So before continuing what he did in Pulashram, any questions from any devotee? You are able to follow Hare Krishna, all the
Yes,
devotees?
yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Prabhuji, actually, I'm sorry I joined late, but I'm not able to get the connection only because you were putting forth the arguments of the Karma Mimamsha. How,
Yes.
how you got them in the picture in the first place? I didn't get it.
Because Bharata Maharaj performing yajna, while performing yajna, is saying that I am not the doer, Lord is the doer. I am not the enjoyer, Lord is the enjoyer.
Hmm.
So ऐसा कैसे बोल सकते हैं? वो प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं इसलिए.
Okay. So it's just that to make us understand the technical aspect of it, that how somebody can argue like this, and then we can present that no, he was detached. Or
No, not exactly like that. Here we can also have an understanding of what Karma Mimamsa says.
acha,
So
okay.
Karma Mimamsakas, they consider the external activity and they say that okay, आप कर्म कर रहे हैं ना, आपको फल मिलेगा. फल तो मिला है, मिलना ही चाहिए. मिल ही रहेगा, आपको लेना ही चाहिए कल फल को. आप ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते मैं ऐसा ही किया था, मुझे कुछ इच्छा नहीं कर्म के फल के प्रति अपेक्षा नहीं, बैठ में करने का था, इच्छा था, कर लिया. I don't want the result. So like somebody message not na. So I am going on the roadside. I saw a revolver and I just shooted someone. I did not. I mean, I don't want the result of be shooting someone.
Mm-hmm.
The karma मीमांसा says that ऐसा नहीं बाबा, आप जो किया उसका फल तो भुगतना पड़ेगा.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, though I have taken a negative example, same way we can take in the positive side also. But within the core of the heart, Bharat Maharaj is having a different understanding only. Because what is there in the heart of the Bharat Maharaj cannot be revealed externally. Only it is revealed in the Bhagavatam.
Okay.
So it's like that.
So again, the understanding is the same, only that though Bharat Maharaj is performing all these sacrifices for the
Mm.
sake of doing it, but he's not attached to the result. Neither he wants any result for himself.
Mm. Yes.
That's the understanding. Okay.
If given an opportunity, if he is not the king, he would have done Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. He would have sat with the Brahmanas and hearing Krishna Katha. He would have been happy with that. You don't have to do all these yajnas painstakingly. Yajna means it's not another thing. All of you, some of you might have experienced, some of you will experience when you get your children married. You will
Hmm.
understand how much difficulties it will be. At least nowadays in towns, they don't do many things. They give everything to people. So a lot of work is it's like prasadam given to catering, the function hall given to some marriage makers, all these people, and
Hmm.
everything is given to others only. Hardly they do very few things in the cities nowadays. Of course, same thing in the villages also, but at least in the past, it is the family members and relatives who do everything A to Z. There is
Yeah.
nothing like contractor who would come and do all these things for us. That concept was not there in the past. There is
Hmm.
like a hell lot of pain involved in that. Not cannot say that it is bad pain. It is a happy pain, happy endeavor.
Yeah. True.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
So, so why Bharat Maharaj is putting all this endeavor if he is not interested in doing that? Not like that, because it is his duty. So he has to
Hmm.
do. So parents may say that. So what is the need of doing all these rituals and all? Yeah, you love someone and get married and go away. Like that, parents may say. Those who
Yeah.
don't want to do any, who don't want to take the responsibility of doing all these rituals of a marriage.
Hmm.
So, but that is not is expected.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Okay, but nevertheless, whatever he
Mm.
performed the activities, he got the results of those. Whether he's interested in the result is the secondary thing, or it is the
Mm.
primary thing.
But
But
where he got the result? Where he got the result?
the kingdom must have flourished, right?
वो तो अदरवाइज भी फ्लरिश होगा. वो तो डिवोटी है ना, भगवान को दो उनके सर के है, सर के ऊपर है, वो तो फ्लरिश होगा ही.
Mhm.
डिवोटी है तो हो जाएगा.
Okay, so neither he was.
Of course, as you said correctly, yes, the kingdom would flourish. But since he is a great devotee, we cannot give that credit only to the ritual. The yajna, because of yajna only the kingdom flourished. That is there as well. He being the devotee, everything will be flourished. Like that also we can say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that goes without saying, of course, because he's devotee,
Uh,
the thing will flourish, of course.
but because since there are hundred thousands of kings, but among them very few are very pure devotees. But
Hmm.
in order to set an ideal example, so since he performed yajnas, whatever may be his consciousness, but he performed yajnas, the kingdom is flourished. So that is true. Like in that way we can take that.
Hmm. Yeah, I was just
Mm.
thinking.
Yeah, that is true. So
Yeah.
that's true. We said na Prithu Maharaj ka time pe, see it was
Yeah.
na okay, 2-3 yajnas would be sufficient to make the kingdom flourish, but still he's performing 1900. वो जरूरत नहीं था, फिर भी कर रहे थे.
Yes. Yes.
बिकॉज
Yeah.
इट्स द ड्यूटी कि राजा ये तो करना ही पड़ेगा, अभी तो करते रहे. और उनका सन भी, पृथु महाराज का सन भी, in the name of yajna he was continuously performing yajna after yajna so that he don't have to punish the sinful people. And it is not that, because since yajna is going one after the other, people are engaged in yajna, they don't have time to do sin also, then there is no need of punishing anyone.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Okay, Manish. Okay. Thank you so much.
So now Bharat Maharaj went to Pula ashram. There the Lord is visible even now in the form of desired, in the form desired by the devotee out of affection for his followers who resides in that place. This is the greatness of Pulahashram. The next verse will tell more details. Basically, in Pulahashram, whichever devotee goes there, the Lord will manifest to them the form they want to worship in that form. Because of his affection, the Lord is present there in the form of desired by his devotees, residing there in the forms like Lord Krishna, Lord Rama. If one want to worship Lord Krishna or Lord Rama, immediately they get the deity. How? Because Pulahashram is situated next to Gandaki river. That's how. In Gandaki river, we get Shaligram Shila. If a devotee goes there to perform bhakti there in Pulahashram, having taken to renounced order, I want to worship Lord Narsingadev. He would get the next day only, will get the Narsingadev Shaligram Shila and he will worship. In that place, the Gandaki, the best of rivers, purifies the hermitages with shilas marked with chakras and holes on both the sides. There they would get easily in Gandaki river, whichever form the devotee want to serve, that form will be available to them next day only. So in that way, like that.
Where exactly is this Pula ashram? Because I've
Now
gone to
Nepal. Gandaki river is in the
no.
Nepal.
Okay. Because here the Haridwar something it was mentioned, so I thought that where in Haridwar Pula ashram.
No, Nepal.
Okay.
The Gandaki purifies the hermitages by the chakras of the shilas with holes on the upper and lower surface. I don't know, I may be wrong also, but I do remember that when devotees go to Muktinath, they pass through Gandaki. Muktinath or Manasarovar, they pass through Gandaki. That's where they come across Gandaki.
Anybody can get the Shaligram Shilas from Gandaki,
I don't know.
and anybody can worship also Shaligram Shilas.
That also I don't know.
Okay.
You ask someone who is actually worshipping Shaligram Shilas, they might be knowing who can worship, who will worship. There are so many rules and regulations. It is not that everyone and anyone can worship.
Because I have
Because
seen some of the
Shaligram worship
devotees.
should go on every day without fail.
Yeah, because some of the devotees who had gone, they have brought Shaligram Shila from there. So I was confused whether anybody can get it like that. Okay.
There, Bharata alone performed worship of the Lord. in the garden of the hermitage at Pulaha, using water, tulasi, various flowers and leaves, with offerings of bulbs, roots, and fruits, pure, free of material desires, with ever increasing peace. Bharata attained the highest bliss. He experienced Bhava, Param Nivrittim Apapa. So, how he is doing? He got a Shaligram Shila of Lord Vishnu, and every day he is worshipping the Shaligram Shila using Gandaki river water, tulsi leaves, flowers, leaves, offerings of bulbs, roots, and fruits. Kanda, Moola, Phala, whatever is naturally available in the forest, he is offering them to deity. So, this is how a devotee performs bhakti, whatever is available. That's why it is said, Lord Krishna says, such a renounced person can worship me easily with whatever is naturally available. Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Tadashnami bhakti upavrutam asnami prayatatmana. So, personalities like Bharata Maharaj, who after taking renunciation, they don't have any facilities to offer grand feast. But whatever is naturally available in the forest, they can offer. You have flowers, you have fruits, you have kandamul, you have water, you have tulsi leaves. Offer. Patram pushpam palam toyam. बस ज्यादा elaborate करने की जरूरत नहीं. So like that. He became lax in his duties as his heart melted because of ever increasing intense attraction for the Lord. Through his constant service, as he was executing his devotional activities, as days passed by, he was submerged in Bhava platform. He would go into Bhava in the morning and he would miss his noontime rituals. And evening when he get up, when he come out of the Bhava platform and when he comes to natural, normal, outside external consciousness, he would see the sun. He would say that, hey, what is this? Those Sham ho gaya. I forgot to perform my noon duties, noon worship. So this Bhava is troubling me. He would actually criticize Bhava because the Bhava is going into trance and is forgetting performance of his deity worship with respect to time periods. His hair stood on end because of joy. Tears produced by longing for the Lord flowed from his eyes out of affection. His intelligence was immersed in the lack of his heart. His intelligence was immersed in the lake of his heart, filled with the highest bliss through bhakti yoga by intense meditation on the red feet of the Lord who bestows prema. He was meditating on the lotus-like lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So as a result of Aruna Charanaravinda, it is mentioned. As a result of that, he would go into Bhava and he would go into trance and the trance would continue for long hours. He had no enthusiasm to perform daily duties because of his heart was melted with affection for the Lord. His hairs on his body stood on end. His intelligence was submerged in the lake in his heart, which was deep with a nectar of great joy spread everywhere. Paripluta. So he was immersed in Bhava, experiencing Bhava always. He forgot to perform his duties. So like that. Duties means the scheduled deity worship. So in that way. With a vow to worship the Lord, his body shining with with deer skin, his brown matted hair wet from his body daily bath, he worshipped the golden Lord with a mantra dedicated to Lord Vishnu in the sun, reciting it as the sun rose. So every day early morning he would get up, take cold water bath, wear wet clothes, and then looking at the sun while sun rising, he would chant a mantra for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Thinking that these ecstatic symptoms were an obstacle and that his intelligence should not be covered by the ecstasy, he began to worship the Lord using a mantra revealed by his intelligence. So since sometimes Baba would take a lot of his time, then as soon as he come out of Baba, he would go to lake or river, whatever is available there, take bath and begin to resume his deity worship by chanting a mantra to sun god. He worshipped using a mantra which revealed the Lord situated in the sun. Suryarcha. Ujhane means rising. Ujase means desiring that the sun rise. So either you would chant this mantra while sun rising or he don't know what the time is because he went into trance. It may be midnight. Immediately got up, came out of the trance. He would take bath, and then looking in the eastern direction, hoping that okay, my dear son, please rise. Thinking like that, he would chant this mantra. So this is one beautiful mantra. परो राजा सवितुर्जातवेदो देवस्य भर्गो मनसेदं जजान सुरेतसादा पुनराविश्य चेष्टे हंसं गृध्राणां नृषद् ringiram ima. Someone read the translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness. He illuminates the entire universe and bestows all benedictions upon his devotees. The Lord has created this universe from his own spiritual potency. According to his desire, the Lord enters this universe as the Supersoul, and by virtue of his different potencies, he is maintaining all living entities desiring material enjoyment. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is the giver of intelligence.
So this is his prayer. As soon as he would rise from the trance, he would take bath and looking in the eastern direction, he would chant this prayer, desiring the sun to rise. I surrender to the effulgent Lord, Bhargo Devasya, situated in the sun, Savituhu, beyond Prakriti, Paro Raja. Paro Raja means he is superior to Rajoguna, fulfilling the desire of the Jiva, and who, by his Chishakti, create this universe by his will, Manasa Idam Jajana, enters it and maintains it. He as Paramatma enters into this universe and maintains it. The Jiva desiring material enjoyment enters it and maintains the Jiva desiring material enjoyment by inspiring the Jiva's intelligence. So here he is worshipping the Paramatma as well as Sun God also. Both Paramatma and Sun God are facilitating our enjoyment in this material world. They are maintaining the entire material world. So that is a prayer he would chant. I surrender to the effulgence of the Lord situated in the sun. This refer to Lord Narayana indicated in Devasya Sada Savitur Mandala Madhya Savitur Mandala Madhyavarti Narayana Sarasijasana Sannivishta is basically Lord Narayana resides in sun always. That's why Surya is also called as Surya Narayana. He is also called as one of the Shakti Avish avatar. So in that way. So he is worshipping that Narayana who is situated in sun. He is beyond Prakriti or he is situated in Shuddha Sattva platform. He fulfilled the desires of the devotees and the effulgent Lord has entered this universe by his will, entering the world by the power of his Shakti at the Antaryami. He sees the Jiva like me, desiring happiness from material objects. So he's telling that, I mean, here Bharata Maharaj is not in one way criticizing himself. I want to enjoy material objects. So, my dear Lord, you are the fulfiller of my desires, something like that. This means he maintained the Jiva out of mercy. How? He maintained the Jiva by inspiring the Jiva's intelligence. Aham sarvasya chaham rishan vishto matya smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Rishat means the intelligence. What remains in men is a covering. The intelligence is there within the core of the heart of a living entity as a covering upon the soul. So like that. That is inspired by the Paramatma, and by as a result of that, we undertake various activities for happiness. So like that. And Bhartmar, I say that I have come to this forest to enjoy, and you are maintaining me, my dear Lord. Thank you very much. So like that. He basically is downplaying himself. So like that, this is how Bharata Maharaj would perform all his bhakti activities in the forest. The Lord gives movement to the intelligence of man. May my intelligence concentrating on the Lord not be covered by anything else. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So in that way. So let me engage in service of the Supreme Lord. So like that he was constantly praying to uh, constantly praying to the Supreme Lord who is there in sun, who is rising in the eastern direction. So this is how Bharata Maharaj continuously every day execute his devotional service being situated in Kulahashram. So while doing so, one day one unexpected thing happened. As a result of that, eventually he had to take birth as a deer. That is explained in the chapter 8. The 8th chapter describes how Bharata Maharaj raised a fawn and meditating on it attained the body of a deer in his next life. So it is like that. So this is a chapter consisting of 30 shlokas. So how Bharata Maharaj, in order to protect a deer baby, he forgot in his own sadhana. Previously, while executing his sadhana, he used to get into trance. He would get bhava and he would get into trance. And after coming out of the trance, he would criticize the trance. Hey, oh, trance, why are you coming to me? Why are you disturbing me? I am not able to perform my daily duties properly. Go away. Don't come again. He would say like that. But on the contrary, now, in this chapter, for the sake of deer, he will forget all the duties, all his bhakti activities. So that will be mentioned in this chapter. As a result of that, he will become a deer in his next life. Lord Krishna, a notion of cleverness, protected this deer who was previously Bharata to show that compassion, if it is an obstacle to bhakti, must be given up. Bharata Maharaj as a Kshatriya. So all of us must have heard this pastime of Shibi Maharaj. Anyone remember what is the greatness of Shibi Maharaj? Bhagavatam 9th canto, it is there. And Mahabharata talks about it elaborately. Mahabharata, Ramayana. Maharaj Shibi.
He was compassionate to the pigeon who took shelter of him. The vulture
Okay,
or
so
something was trying to eat. So he said, ki, if I have given him shelter, then I cannot give that pigeon to you because even though that is your prey. So then that God said that then you have to give me something because I have to eat something and I had catched it, but now you have given him shelter. So then he cuts the flesh from his own thigh and gives that much weight of the pigeon.
why
Equal
he
to
did
that
that? That is all fine. That is all fine. The story is fine. But why he did that?
because he has accepted to give shelter to that god
Why,
out of
why, 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 why he has
so,
to do
so
that?
that that
He could
god
have
will
said,
have
eh,
compassion again.
not just compassion. It is Raja Dharma. It is the duty of the king. Whoever surrendered to a king, the king must give protection. Even in Mahabharata also, during Kando Prastha episode, so Lord Krishna and Arjuna were killing every living entity in that forest. They were not allowing anyone to go out. So Mayadanava came and surrendered to Arjuna. Krishna was telling that no, he should be killed. But Arjuna said that, my dear Lord, he has taken shelter. We cannot kill him now. He has surrendered himself. So we cannot kill him. So Lord Krishna said, okay, if you say, I'm okay. When somebody, even Ramayana also, if you remember, when Vibhishana came and surrendered to Lord Ram, what did Lord Rama told? Even if
Ravana
Ravana comes and surrender to me, I will not kill him. Sakradeva prapannoya stavasmiti cha yachate. Abhayam sarvada tasmai. Etadeva vratam mama. Even if once somebody say that I am yours, I am surrendered soul at your lotus feet, Lord will give abhaydan for the rest of eternity. So that is that is the principle of King Raja. It is the Raja Dharma. There, Shibi Maharaj was a king. He was ruling the kingdom. He is supposed to give protection to each and every living entity. He did it. No problem. But here, Bharata Maharaj is no more a king. He is already in the Vanaprastha order. That doesn't mean that he should not show compassion. Compassion should be shown. But when the compassion becomes an obstacle to bhakti, it must be given up. May not be completely, but it should not extend it to the extent that it will obstruct one's bhakti. Say like that. Whatever minimum required should be done. Something like that. The Lord shows his affection for his devotee by protecting Bharata in the form of a deer, so that he would fall into the ocean of remorse in order to drown in the ocean of prema. So when the deer was there, Bharata neglected his duties. But when he became deer, he was in remorse. As a result of that, in the next life, he was completely immersed in prema. It's like that. So Lord is actually showcasing an example. What should be done, what should not be done, using Bharata Maharaj as an instrument. So like that. One day, the story begins, and the other, he came to forest. We don't know how many years passed, but he was in Bhava and experiencing Bhava and continuously going on. One day, having performed his daily rites, bodily needs, and taken bath, he was sitting on the bank of the river, chanting Krishna mantras, Brahmaksharam Abhigrunato, for 3 muhurtas, Muhurtatrayam. So early morning, he took morning bath and sat on a rock and chanting Brahmakshar mantra. So whatever mantra he was chanting, maybe Hare Krishna mantra, may not be Hare Krishna mantra, we don't know, but Prabhupada writes Hare Krishna mantra only. But in those days, we don't know whatever mantra, Lord's holy name, he was chanting for 3 muhurtas. So one muhurta is 45 minutes, 2 muhurtas, 1.5 hour, 3 muhurtas, 2 hours 15 minutes, hour 16 mala. That was the time, 3 muhurtas. He had performed his daily rites, necessities like passing urine and bathing. Brahmaksharam means the syllable of a Krishna mantra. Brahma Aksharam, the syllables which indicate the name of the Supreme Lord. Either it could be Krishna mantra, Ram mantra, Vasudeva mantra, or Vishnu mantra, whichever. Since we are coming in the Krishna parampara, so it is Krishna mantra. Abhigruhnan means uttering. So you are chanting. O king, a doe, Harini, mother deer, being very thirsty, came near the water. As he was meditating upon for 3 muhurtas, a deer came. Matlab, he already completed. He opened his eyes. He was just looking at the scenic place. A mother deer came. While the doe was drinking the water, the roar of a lion, fearful to all, arose nearby. Somewhere nearby, a lion roared loudly. So the doe thought that the lion is roaring, looking at me only. We don't know whether the lion was looking at this deer or not. That is not clearly mentioned. But the lion produced a sound. Hmm? The doe was out of being thirsty as the whole, it seems that summer day, and it was feeling so thirsty, and it was trying to quench its thirst and nourish itself. As it is about to drink water, it was drinking water. In the midway of the drinking water, the lion produced sound. Then what happened? Hearing that sound, the doe, whose nature was to be alarmed, with restless eyes, with fear of the lion entering its agitated heart, with irresolute gaze in terror, leaped over the stream in the same instant without satisfying her thirst. It was just started drinking the water. It suddenly heard the sound. It did not have time to look back whether lion is nearby, is he looking after me or not. Just hearing the sound, he suddenly jumped across the water channel. Sahasa means at the same time at the roar. Bayat means in terror. She jumped over the river. So then what happened? When the pregnant doe, this doe was a pregnant, jumped up, her fetus came out, pushed out of great fear, and fell in the river. At the doe, the mother deer, jumping across the water, as a matter of inertia, as a matter of fear and all, the fetus which in the womb of the mother deer, it suddenly came out. And delivery happened while the doe is on the flight only, above the water only. So then what happened? Afflicted by exhaustion, fear, the jump, the discharge of her fetus, and separated from the flock. The black doe fell down in a cave and died. So many things are happening. Generally, the deers go in a group, and the deers don't walk for long. Here today it seems it is alone, away from our group of deers, and sunny day. It exhausted. It found water at the end, and it was trying to quench its thirst. It also pregnant. It is carrying a lot of weight because it is pregnant. And suddenly the lion roared, and because of that, out of fear, it jumped across. As a result of all these things, the child came out of the womb, and the deer fell into a cave with full of rocks. And hitting those rocks, it fell dead. It can't control itself because so many things are happening simultaneously. Exhaustion is there, thirst is there, fear is there, pain is there, childbirth is there, all these things. Utparshva means giving birth from a high place, an abortion. This is an alternate reading. So in the shloka, it is mentioned Tat Parshva of our fetus. Utsparsha means it is still on the air, it is still in the flight, it is not yet landed on the ground. Then only it gave birth. That is somewhat similar to abortion. It happened like that. So Bharat Maharaj is observing all these things, whatever is happening around. The great king Bharata, seeing the helpless fawn floating down the river out of compassion as a friend, thinking its mother had died, took the fawn, which had no friend, to his hermitage. Now, since he was a king for 10 million years, he had compassion for all the living entities. So the deer came alone. He did not come with the group of deers. If it had come with the group of the deers, Bharata Maharaj would have landed that deer child into that group, and the group would have taken care of it. But it came alone. Seems that there is no other group also nearby, and it is motherless. And he himself jumped into the river and caught that child deer and took it to his hermitage. So since that small deer is motherless, he had developed more compassion towards it. Since he was Raja, and he thought that since I was the Raja, it is my responsibility to take care of everyone. And this motherless deer cub has come to me by the will of the Providence. Now it is my responsibility to maintain it. He took it like that. The deer was a baby, separated from its kind. Because it was small, helpless, and separated from its kind, Bharata felt compassion, and he began to take care of the small deer. Taking the fawn as his own child, the king daily fed it, protected it, caressed it, and pleased it. Becoming absorbed in the deer by these activities, he gave up his own regulations and rules of conduct and his worship of the Lord. Bit by bit, bit by bit, in a few days, everything became neglected. Because the deer cub is small, it required full attention, just like then the parents of the newborn baby, they need to give full attention to the baby. They don't have any alternative. They can't shout at the baby that why are you crying so much? Why are you disturbing me so much? They cannot do that. Baby cries, they have to attend it. That's all. They don't have any other alternative. Here, same way, Bharat Maharaj also, step by step, slowly forgot about his daily bhakti activities and spending full time in taking care of the small deer. He fed the deer green grasses, newly brown green grasses, because the deer has not developed the teeth yet. Protected it from wild animals, gave affection by petting it and fondling it with kisses. By these, he became attached to it. And he was taking care of the deer, and he forgot that I had to do morning duties and afternoon duties, evening duties, वो सब side में रख दिया. Alas! And then he would always think that, alas! Oh, this helpless young deer, by the force of the turning of the Lord's wheel of time, by the power of time, has now lost its relatives and friends, and has taken shelter of me. It does not know anyone but me, as I have become its father, mother, brother, and relative. It has faith in me. Therefore, I, without enemy, knowing the fault of neglecting one who approaches in surrender, should raise, protect, gratify, and fondle this deer who has surrendered to me. So he went to this extent. See, the deer has come to me. It has accepted me as the mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, master, king, everything. I have to take care of it. This is Lord's order. I cannot say no to it because he has surrendered to me. Like Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratiya Mam Yeve Prapadyante Maya Taradite. Those who surrender to me, I will take care of them. Sarvadharman Paritejya Mamekam Sharanam Rajaham Tam Sarvapavipi Mokshesham Asuchaha. So it's like that. Same way. From this verse till verse 11, his attachment is shown. The deer has been separated from its kind by the force of the rotation of Lord's wheel of time and came to me. Being without envy, I see no fault in giving up my own interest for that of the deer, whereas neglecting one who has come for the shelter is a great fault. If I neglect the deer and do my devotional service, it is a big fault upon me. But if I neglect the devotional activities and take care of the deer, it is not a fault upon me. This is what Bharata Maharaj is thinking and taking care of the deer. Then he says that those who are detached, who are cultured and saintly, friends to the helpless, neglect their own important interest for such purposes. Shibi Maharaj, he was the king. He had the greater responsibility. But still keeping all those things aside, he was giving his own flesh at the cost of his own death to the vulture. So what is this? अभी vulture को भगाओ, राज्य को संभालो. Somebody might say that. But the kings are such a way, when they give you a word, they follow it. Harichandra told, he took a vow that I will never speak lies. He followed it, even though he went through so many adverse conditions. So something like that. That is Raja Dharma. Raja Dharma means strict adherence to one's promises. So it's like that. So here Bharata is saying that, तो मैं तो एक राजा था, यही मेरा जनरल ड्यूटी था. I cannot say no to it. This is actually for my own good. If I follow my duty, that will bring me highest benefit because I am rendering my duty. Like that, Bharata Maharaj thought. Having developed attachment, he became bound by affection to the young deer while sitting, sleeping, walking, bathing, and eating. Whatever he would do, he would keep the deer in his company. He would never allow the deer go here and there. He would never allow the deer to go anywhere else. So this is how Bharata Maharaj slowly was controlled by the affection toward the deer. When he went to collect the kusha grass, flowers, wood, leaves, fruits, roots, and water, fearing danger from monkeys, jackals, and wild dogs, he would enter the forest with the young deer. Even when we go to collect the basic things required for his native worship, he would never leave the deer in the ashram, thinking that okay, tiger might come and eat it up. So this is how his affection toward the deer was increased day by day more and more. His mind filled with affection and attachment as he walked here and there in the forest. Unaware of the dangers, he would carry the deer on his shoulders. When he was going into the forest trying to get some things, he would keep the deer on his shoulders. Or he would keep it on his lap or on the chest. Petting the deer, he felt great bliss. Previously, entering into Bhava platform, entering into trance, he was experiencing bliss. But now he is experiencing bliss by patting the deer. पूरा चेंज हो गए. He would walk on the muddy earth where there was grass for the deer. He was unaware there that he may sink in the mud. He was attached. So, as he was walking in the forest during rainy season, there would be a lot of mud. He would keep the deer on his shoulders and would walk on the muddy path. But he was not worried about he may go deeper into the mud. He is not worried about that. He was only interested in taking care of the deer, not himself entering into the mud. When in the midst of performing worship of the Lord, Titi worship, he would rise and gaze at the deer. Bharata would offer blessings to the deer with mind joyful on seeing it. Oh, young deer, all blessings to you. Even sometimes while he is doing deity worship, the deer would run here and there. And when he would not see the deer for a few seconds, he would immediately get up, stopping the deity worship in the middle, and he would get up and look in all direction. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? As soon as he would see, he would say that Swasti, Swasti. May Lord bless you, may Lord bless you, all good fortune to you. So in that Swastista te sarvata iti. Let there be auspicious to you always. So like that, he would bless the deer. While performing worship the Lord, he would think that I do not know where the deer has gone. He would rise and look for the deer. And as soon as you see the deer, he would recover himself gaining the bliss on seeing the deer. And finally, today we'll stop with this verse. This is the last verse for the discussion. Sometimes, not seeing the deer, his mind would become pitifully disturbed, like a miser who has lost his wealth. He would become greatly bewildered and lament. His heart was pained by the pangs of separation from the small deer. With longing to see it, he would speak as follows. When sometimes he would get up from stopping deity worship and he would get up and look around, he would go here and there and he would not find the deer, then he would become so much worried. The deer is there somewhere, or some animal came and eaten it up. He would go into tremendous anxiety. What happened to the deer? So something. Then he speaks something interestingly. Sometimes not seeing the deer, he would become bewildered out of longing to see it. And what Bharata speaks is a big talk, section 25, that we will see in the next class. So we'll stop here. And those devotees who want to continue with the exam, please continue with the exam. Or before that, if one or two questions, if anyone have, we'll take anywhere today. All the story only, not much.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, does do the kings when they accept vanaprastha also have the kingly responsibilities? Like
not necessary, not necessary. That doesn't mean that they should be hard-hearted. They should show compassion as much as is required. It is not that they should give up themselves because they've already given up kingly responsibilities. In one sense, giving shelter to each and everyone is the responsibility of a king. So you have already given up kingly responsibility. Along with that will also go.
Yeah,
Here he is also like a vanaprastha. So
because he is so much worried for the protection of the deer. But when the king comes to Vanaprastha ashram, he has already given the kingdom to somebody else, the able heir of the kingdom, right? So that king is responsible now for the whatever the kingly responsibilities are. Then this one who is in the Vanaprastha will not be entitled to have all those responsibilities.
So the vanaprastha should hand over the responsibility to someone who is able to do it. That's how they should show compassion. So in that way.
That way, if we see from that perspective, then Bharat Maharaj was not entitled to give full protection to this fawn.
Yeah, yes. He should have given the responsibility to somebody else who can do that. He did not do that.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Hare Krishna. So if there are no questions, so thank you very much. So the exam question paper has already been shared with all of you.